All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving into a listener request and a personal favorite of mine, Osaka.
Osaka.
You know, everyone calls it Japan's kitchen, so I'm really excited to, well, dig into all the incredible stuff you dug up. Let's figure out why this city is a must-visit for any serious food lover, and maybe even whip up a little beginner's guide to Osaka along the way.
Sounds delicious. And I think a great place to start is with the Edo period. The research really points to this era as a turning point for Osaka, solidifying its role as, well, a powerhouse in the world of Japanese cuisine. I mean, it was a major trading hub.
Right, a major trading hub. And we're talking, what, the 1600s to the mid-1800s, something like that?
Yeah, about that. And during that time, you have to imagine ingredients from all over Japan flowing into Osaka. You've got those incredibly fertile plains surrounding the city, producing amazing rice and vegetables. And then, of course, you've got Osaka Bay.
Osaka Bay. You know, I was reading that it was once called Naniwa, which, get this, translates to something like fish garden.
Fish garden? How cool is that?
It's so perfect. It really paints a picture of just how abundant the seafood was. And they weren't just, eating whatever they could catch. They were already cultivating specific vegetables, ones that are still prized today.
Absolutely. And there's even a movement now to officially recognize these vegetables as Naniwa traditional vegetables. It's fascinating, really. They're tracing their roots back over a century, emphasizing those deep connections to the region.
It's amazing how a city's culinary identity can be so deeply tied to its past, right? And speaking of identity, we can't talk about Osaka without mentioning that one special phrase, kudore.
Sudore. Eat till you drop.
Eat till you drop. But it's more than just that, isn't it?
So much more. It's not about stuffing yourself silly. It's about a genuine appreciation for good food. It's a celebration of eating as a shared experience, something that brings people together. It's really at the heart of Osaka's food culture.
It's almost like a philosophy, right? A way of life.
Exactly. And that brings us to the really good stuff, the iconic dishes that really put Osaka on the culinary map. I'm talking takoyaki, okonomiyaki, kushikatsu. The list goes on.
Oh, man. Just hearing those names makes my mouth water.
Mine too. Yeah. And it all goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the Edo period. It wasn't just the quantity of food in Osaka. It was the focus on quality, the appreciation for fresh, local ingredients.
Yeah, and that's what fuels the kudare spirit. It's everywhere you look, from those amazing street food stalls to the incredible variety of restaurants.
Absolutely. And when you think about street food, you've got to start with takoyaki. I mean, who wouldn't love a little ball of fried dough filled with octopus?
Seriously, those perfectly crispy little orbs filled with tender octopus, tempura scraps, green onions, pickled ginger.
And don't forget that savory sauce, the seaweed, the dancing bonito flakes on top. It's a flavor and texture explosion in every bite.
And the way they make it. Have you ever seen them cooking takoyaki on those special griddles? It's like watching a performance.
Totally. It's an art form. And then you've got okonomiyaki, which is another Osaka classic. It's often called a savory pancake, but it's so much more than that.
It's like a blank canvas for culinary creativity, right?
Exactly. You start with that savory batter, the shredded cabbage, and then you can add pretty much anything you want. Pork belly, shrimp, squid, cheese.
I even saw one place that had mochi in it.
Mochi.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. It really speaks to that Osaka openness to different flavors and influences.
Oh, and you've got to try okonomiyaki cooked right at your table. It's such a fun, interactive experience.
For sure. And if we're talking about interactive, we can't forget kushikatsu. These deep-fried skewers are another Osaka must-try. You'll find them all over the city, especially in the Shinsekai district.
Oh, Shinsekai. It's like stepping back in time.
Right. And the kushikatsu is amazing there. They've got skewers of everything. Meat, veggies, seafood. It's all lightly battered, deep-fried, and served with this amazing dipping sauce. Just remember, no double dipping.
Oh, yeah. That's a big no-no. But it's hard to resist when the sauce is so good.
I know. It's that perfect blend of sweet and savory. And it's communal, so you really feel like you're sharing the experience with everyone around you.
And speaking of sharing, we should also touch on Kappo cuisine. It's a more informal, intimate way to experience Japanese dining.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It emerged as a more casual alternative to those super traditional, formal Japanese restaurants.
So you still get that emphasis on fresh, seasonal ingredients and those incredible cooking techniques.
Absolutely. But it's more relaxed. You often sit at a counter right in front of the chef so you can see the magic happening.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It is. And of course, no conversation about Japanese cuisine would be complete without mentioning sushi. Now, Tokyo might be the sushi capital of the world, But Osaka has its own unique style. Oshizushi, or box sushi.
Rock sushi.
Yeah, it's this pressed sushi where they layer the ingredients and rice in a mold. It comes out looking so beautiful, almost like a little work of art.
It's so precise. I bet the texture is completely different from nigiri sushi.
It is. And speaking of unique flavors, we've got to talk about dashi. This rich soup stock is essential to so much of Japanese cooking, and Osaka is known for having some of the best dashi in the country.
Is that because of the kelp? I remember reading something about that.
You're right, they use high-quality kelp from Hokkaido. There's even this story about Konbuya Ie, a prominent merchant from Osaka, who is credited with bringing that kelp to the region. It really transformed the dashi game.
Wow. So even the soup stock has this whole fascinating backstory.
It does. And don't forget about all the influences from other cuisines. Osaka, being a major port city, has always been a melting pot of cultures.
Right. So you see those Chinese and Korean influences woven into the food.
Exactly. It all comes together to create this incredibly vibrant and diverse culinary scene that truly earns Osaka the title of Japan's kitchen.
So for someone planning a first-time trip to Osaka, what are your top tips?
Well, getting around is super easy thanks to Osaka's incredible public transportation system.
The trains are fantastic, super efficient.
Yeah, and the subways too. For a first-time visitor, I definitely recommend getting a rechargeable travel card, like an ICOCA or Suica.
It makes paying for fares so much easier.
Exactly. And it's a good idea to download a local transport app for real-time navigation and route planning. If you're planning on traveling outside of Osaka, you might even want to look into the Japan Rail Pass before you go.
And what about local customs? Anything travelers should be aware of?
Well, like anywhere in Japan, politeness goes a long way.
Oh, yeah. Simple things like saying itadakimasu before eating and gochi susama deshita after.
Right. It shows respect and appreciation. And be mindful of your volume, especially on public transport. Also, remember to take off your shoes when entering certain establishments, like temples or traditional restaurants. Just watch what others do, and you'll be fine.
Any avoid advice for Osaka? Things first-time visitors should try not to do.
Well, littering is a big no-no in Japan. People take pride in keeping their surroundings clean.
Definitely. And be mindful of those smaller independent shops. They might have slightly more flexible hours than the big chains.
Good point. And for those traveling on a budget, Osaka is actually a great place to save money.
Really? I wouldn't have thought so with all the amazing food.
Well, that's the beauty of Kudo culture. Embracing the street food scene is a fantastic way to experience authentic flavors without breaking the bank.
So true.
And a lot of restaurants have really affordable lunch specials. It's worth checking those out.
That's great advice.
And while we focus on Osaka, it's important to remember that Japan has such a rich and diverse culinary landscape. You shared some fascinating information about Okinawan cuisine and the Tokyo Islands.
Oh, yeah. It's a reminder that Japan's kitchen is just one part of a much larger and more complex story.
Exactly. Okinawan cuisine, for example, is completely different from what you'll find in Osaka. It's influenced by the subtropical climate, the island's unique history, and even connections to Southeast Asia and America.
I love Okinawa soba. Those thick noodles are so satisfying.
And Goya champuru, that stir-fry with the bitter melon, it's such a classic Okinawan dish.
Don't forget about refute, the slow-cooked pork belly, and taco rice. It's an interesting fusion dish.
Absolutely. And then you have the Tokyo Islands with their locavore dining initiative.
Oh, yes. They're really focusing on locally sourced ingredients, showcasing the unique agricultural products of the islands.
They even have a special guidebook for international visitors, highlighting dishes made with ingredients like ashitaba, camellia oil, and fresh seafood.
It's amazing how much variety there is within Japanese cuisine.
It really is. And it all circles back to what we were talking about earlier, the connection between history, geography, and culinary identity.
Osaka is a perfect example of that. It's this incredible melting pot of flavors and influences, all thanks to its role as a major trading hub.
And that Japan's kitchen nickname. It's so well-deserved. There's truly something for everyone in Osaka. From traditional dishes passed down through generations to innovative street food, it's a food lover's paradise.
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the history, the iconic dishes, and even some practical tips for first-time visitors.
And it all comes back to that Kuidor spirit. It's more than just a phrase. It's a way of life in Osaka. It's about embracing the joy of eating, the shared experience of good food, and the constant discovery of new and delicious flavors.
So as we wrap up this episode, I'd like to leave our listeners with a final thought. If a city's history as a trading hub, like Osaka, can shape its culinary identity so profoundly, what other cities around the world might have similar stories waiting to be told? What hidden culinary gems are out there just waiting to be discovered?
That's a great question, and it's a delicious challenge for our listeners to explore.
Until next time, happy eating, everyone.
Happy eating.